Welcome to Dynamite Effect, and it is 2022. I am Kim Calvert, and we are live for the first time this year, and it is not going to be the only time. It is awesome to be back. It is good to be into a brand new year, brand new month. And of course, today is Monday, and we are kicking off officially the first week of January. So, hello everybody. Let me know as you're coming in where you're watching from. Where are you in the world? It is great to have you here. Hopefully, we'll have a couple of people come and join us today, because what I'm going to bring to you is a very short but succinct little live based around what are my top 3 mindset hacks that I believe that if you implement going forward in this new year, it will multiply your effectiveness, your income, your productivity, your happiness, your joy, your gratitude, your relationships, your health. Every single aspect of your life will improve if you implement the 3 things that I'm going to talk about today. So it's good to have you here. I'm seeing Breach is just in as well. I think James as well. So good to have you here. Let me know in the comments box where you are coming in from. And also, if you have any questions, pop them in. I do not mind answering some questions as we get towards the end. Now, we are in a brand new year, guys. That means there are brand new opportunities here for you, and everything you need is right here, right now. Your job is to tune your mindset into the thoughts that are needed to require your goals. Now, I mentioned goals in a couple of posts I've been doing over the last few days. Of course, it's the first week of January. Everybody's talking about goals, but most people are getting it wrong. And today, with these 3 top tips I want to give you, is going to help you. It might only be 3 things, and I'm going to guarantee you, the people that are in this group, you're not new to this material. You've been either listening to me, you might be a student of mine, you might have listened to Bob Proctor, who's my mentor. But even if you are a student that's been in this material for such a long time, I guarantee you, you're overcomplicating the process of manifesting anything that you desire. I guarantee you, you think you need to learn more and gather more information, but you don't. You actually, like, my main goal with my team and with my clients this year is not about getting more stuff. It's not about gaining or getting more knowledge or getting more clients or getting. It's never about getting. Life is about receiving. Life, when you really get tuned into understanding how to play life and really enjoy yourself and be that highest form of creation, you get to just attract things to you. And that's the beautiful part. This is why I've been able in the last year to impact thousands of people's lives. People just like you, people just like me, ordinary day-to-day guys, girls, and everybody from around the world, to actually achieve extraordinary results. But by working less, earning more, having better thriving relationships, having great health, and just kind of sailing. You know when you have one of those days when you just feel great? That's alignment. That's what I help people do. Get their mind and their mindset aligned to where they want to go. And that's what I think you should be doing as you kick off this brand new year. There is no point, and trust me, there is no point in doing what you did last year. You're only going to get more of what you've already got. And depending on whether or not you were happy with last year's results or not, I don't know any successful person or any goal achiever that wants to do more of the same. Okay? If you have not written out your goals, if you're just thinking, oh, if I can just get through another year, you're on the wrong path. And I say that because it's a harder path. It makes things more difficult. You, right now, are poised and set for a quantum leap. You can decide right now from the outset of this year, right, that's it. I'm going to make this year my everything. Now, you're going to hear that across social media. You're going to hear it from anybody who is remotely in the personal development industry. They're going to be saying this to you over and over and over. And I'm not going to tell you simple things, but I'm going to explain simple concepts that are essential that you really get right from the root level, okay? And the other thing I would say is, even if you're on listening today, like, what's your intentions? Why did you show up today? Let me know in the chat box. Why are you here? There are 35 people here so far. Why did you jump on? What are you looking for? Are you looking for guidance? Are you looking for clarity? Are you looking for an answer? Are you looking for, I don't know. Tell me. Let me know, because I am here for you. This group, Dynamite Effect, is a community that is free content. It is our way as Dynamite Lifestyle to help people waking up one thought at a time. As you may or may not know, I'm Bob Proctor's #1 consultant. I'm his executive diamond and the first pillar of PGI. And basically, they're just fancy titles. I'm just like you guys. It's hard to believe that 6 years ago, I had nothing. I had £4.20 to my name. I was nursing. I had a 9-to-5 job, which really was more than 9 to 5 because you take the job home with you. I was confused. I had no clarity. I had no goals. I just kind of got through the month, just about, always waiting for that paycheck. And you might be in a similar position to that right now, or you might be in a different position. The bottom line is, whether you're somebody who is here because you're seeking out growth or guidance, or you want to scale an existing business model or idea that you have, these 3 concepts are for everyone. I work with people who are earning nothing, who want to grow, and I also work with millionaires who want to scale to the next level. And I teach the same principles, the same concepts to everyone. And they're the same concepts that even Bob still teaches me. And why is this important? Well, it's because it kind of puts us all, nobody's competing. You don't have to look at other people in your industry or other people in your family or other people in your community and go, oh my goodness, what are they doing? Oh, I need to hurry up. Sometimes, especially if you're in business, this time of the year, you can get a little bit anxious. Where are the sales going to come from? Right, quick, what are we doing? I didn't make a plan at the end of last year, right? What's everybody else doing? And that can tend to lead to more of the same. I don't want that for you this year. I want you guys to actually make an intention from the outset. This is the year. You don't have to claim I'm going to make multi-millions. You probably won't, okay? Unless you've got $1 million idea that you're ready to execute right away. That takes a bit more time. But what if you just changed 1 or 2 things that really held you back last year? I think it's about time we make this new year less of a big deal. It's really just another day, another week. When you start to live your life from a place of understanding, and in this, especially in this material that we teach, we teach people how to up level their mindset. That means your whole life becomes better. You come up with better ideas. You meet and attract better people into your life, opportunities. You feel good. You have energy every single day. You're excited about what you're going to do. You're creative. The how, the questions, they just get answered. That's how you want to live every day. Now, we don't go around kind of skipping and being like annoying. We're just normal people, but we get extraordinary results because we follow a system. And as I've said, no matter what level you're at, as you kick off this next year, you've got to make a change if you want to see a change. You cannot rely on the same strategies in business, in relationships, in all sorts of areas. Something's got to change. Now's the time to do that. Like, I'm super pumped because tomorrow will be my first lesson back with my clients. I work with hundreds of people all over the world, teaching them this process that was passed down to me from Bob Proctor. And needless to say, it has worked in my life incredible amounts. But the beautiful part of what I see is it's a repeatable formula. And now we're seeing our clients go out and double, treble, quadruple their income. And it's just making such a profound impact. And that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to help you with. So what are the 3 main things that you need to be thinking about, especially this week? And I'll just do one more side note. Don't fall into the trap this year, or this first week of January trap, where you consume 50 million different things and you start to think about every idea you've ever thought of in your life, and you've got all these plans and you're planning out the entire year. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Okay, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people would say, get your vision and then plot your course. And yes, that's something that I teach. But if you're not my client and you're not going through that structured process, And maybe you're just here listening in and you just want, right, Kim, what are the immediate things that I can do this week? Because here's the thing, guys. I don't even work in weeks. I work in days. I work in 24-hour blocks. There's one thing that I'm going to share with you on top of these points that has helped me earn multi-millions. I don't worry about the whole year today. Do you know why? Because today's the 3rd of January. Why would I worry about something today that hasn't yet happened? I'm not even talking about worrying. I'm not even consuming my mind today about good things that are going to happen, like birthdays, trips, or events, or anything like that. I'm not thinking about that today because today is today. Now, why I'm sharing that little tip and side note with you is because that's what's going to give you calmness and order in your mind. When you start working in a 24-hour block, meaning you might take a day in the week or an hour when you get pro at this and you plan out your week, but when it's Monday, you only focus on Monday. When it's Monday at 2 p.m., you only focus on what is happening at 2 p.m. When I let go of the mental baggage of stuff either in the future or stuff that's in the past, when I let go of that mental baggage, I've then got more capacity to be more alert, more in alignment with my goal, and more open to receiving the ideas to execute in this now moment. Now, why is that important? Well, that's extremely important because of the 3 points. Mainly the last one is around attitude. Because when you're in the now moment, you're giving off an energy. But you know your energy can fluctuate and change throughout a day depending on who you're with, depending on what you're thinking about, depending on whatever. The goal to living a successful life is living on that positive, high vibration, thinking from that place, no matter what's going on around you. And the best way to do that is to be tunnel focused. Be laser focused and give 100% of your energy capacity to each thing as you do it, instead of maybe doing it 20% because 80% of you is thinking about what emails need done next week. So that's one thing I want you to really note today. Only work on focused projects at a time. Like if you're on this live right now, you should be listening to this right now. You should be taking notes right now. You shouldn't be walking around or eating. I mean, you can multitask to a certain extent, but the key is, are you present in the moments on a day-to-day basis? Because if you're just working on autopilot, which is what most people do, we wake up, bang, we go into autopilot. We do the same things the same way as we always have. And that's essentially like sleepwalking. And if you work with this material and you're very aware of manifestation and receiving guidance and, you know, having those little intuitive moments, you're not going to hear them on autopilot. You've got to be really locked in. Then your intuition is going to work for you. You're going to know who to ring. You're going to know who to contact. The people are going to contact you. So that's just a little side note, okay? Now, number 1. We've got loads of people on now, which is great. So hello to all of you. The number 1 thing that I would do today, this week, forget about what's to come. Don't overwhelm your mind. Just say to yourself, what could I do in the first week of January that's really going to set me up, that's really going to propel me? Now, there's simple things that I could say to you, and I'm sure you've heard them, and let's be honest, you know them. Tidy your office, clean your house, all that usual stuff. Now, I'm not going to talk about the no one doing gap today. That is something we're going to talk about in this group maybe next Monday. But you already know a lot of stuff that you have to do, and you haven't been doing it. And I'm not going to be cross at you today. I'm not going to go on at that. But if I tell you these 3 things, I want you to be committed to doing them for at least 21 days. Okay? That's it. Very simple. And I think you should use this group as an accountability group. You can let us know if you've completed, do whatever you want. But the 3 things that you need to think about. 1 is gratitude. 2 is goals. And 3 is attitude. If you can just focus on these 3 things for the next 21 days, you will more than likely multiply your income. If you're in a business and you have a way to earn an income, you will 100% be a lot more fun to be around. You're going to be happier, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be more alert. If you are sitting perhaps a little bit like me, kind of like ready to do a bit of a detox after Christmas and New Year, this is the best way to do it. This is the mental detox. We're always worried about, the body and our weight and what we feel like. And I'm sluggish because I've had all of this food. And yeah, you might be sluggish because you ate too much turkey, but you're also sluggish because when's the last time you did a mental house clean? So the 3 things that are going to set you up is gratitude, goals, and having a good attitude. So let's talk the first one first. What is gratitude? Many people don't understand that. And gratitude, in my opinion, I'm just going to give you little snippets around this, but gratitude is probably single-handedly the most powerful exercise for you as a human being. I really, truly believe that. I know. I know that it significantly increases your mental well-being. I used to be a mental health nurse. I did this a lot, this positive psychology with clients. Extraordinary results. Way more than medications and different things like that. I'm not saying don't, but I'm saying this is always the first stuff that I go to. So gratitude, I'm going to show you in 2 parts why this is powerful. 1, gratitude is important because it grounds you. It keeps you in the here and the now, and it allows you to be grateful for what you already have. The thing about life and the thing about results is you are the creator of your reality. Your thoughts are just moving into form and creating what you call your reality. And whether that's new information to you or whether that's not, it's something you should really study. It's what I've devoted my life to in the last few years, to helping people realize, oh my goodness, whatever I think and give attention to starts to come to me. Now that is very basic to understand, yet we use it the wrong way all the time. Because what we think about is all the things we don't want. So gratitude is an exercise that allows you to tune your mind every day to the positive pole. There are 2 poles, the negative and the positive. Your mind is energy and it is always attracted to one of these 2 poles, okay? If you're thinking positive, then you're not thinking negative. But when you're thinking negative, you're thinking positive and you're always thinking. Now, depending, and your mind is like, just think of it like a big magnet. If your mind is being magnetized towards any given subject and is given energy, it pulls it to you. Now, this is Science 101. I'm not making this up. Bob Proctor didn't make this up. Whatever you focus on, whatever attention you give in your thoughts, in your mind, to any given situation, whether that's something in the physical, whether that's something just in your imagination, it starts to attract more like thoughts. So why is gratitude important? Well, gratitude's important because you and I don't always think positive. It's the truth. There's no point in saying, yeah, I'm the most positive person. I'm not always the most positive person. Some days I'm not so positive. Because I'm a human being. I'm a human and I'm a being. I'm a physical body, but I'm a spiritual being. And what I have learned, I didn't always live my life. I was never always a happy person. I was quite a grumpy person. And I kind of hung out with grumpy people. And we had grumpy conversations. And you didn't realize it at the time because you were so grumpy. But when you look back now and I think back to, people I was with, things I was doing, conversations I was having, interests that I had or didn't have, it was pretty dull. Now, some people get offended, well, what's wrong with just having a simple life? Well, in my opinion, everything is wrong with that. Because you're the most powerful being on the planet. You have infinite potential within you. You can create anything you want. You might think that you can't. That's a different matter. But it is absolute scientific fact that there's perfection within you and you can have anything you want. But that doesn't sit well with a lot of people because we also have been brought up in a world to believe, well, having a whole lot of stuff doesn't make you happy and doesn't, you're just this not happy. But like, it's so unbelievable. The amount of people that sometimes say to me, Kim, you don't need all those things. I'm like, I know that. I was happy before I, was doing all of these things, as in before I got my car, before I was, on holidays with my friends on private yachts and planes and all sorts of stuff. Because with gratitude, you've got to be grateful for what you have before you ever receive more of what you want. So important. You got to be happy with your situation before it's going to get better. But what most people do is they talk and think about what they don't want. They magnetize their mind to the wrong thing. When I ask people, what are your goals? Well, I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want that. Great. You just spent 5 minutes giving energy to what you don't want, which means it is on its way to you. Amazon Prime is in transit. That's what happens. So then you bump into another person and they happen to go, oh yeah, that happened to me too. It just spreads. So gratitude is a vital exercise that you do every morning. Now, why do we do it in the morning? Very simple. In fact, I have a special book for my gratitude. Some of you might have seen it. This is last year's, but I keep a beautiful folder to write my gratitude in because everything I write in this book comes true. Okay? That's a belief that I've adopted, and I don't say that flippantly. I mean, a lot of people, especially my mom and dad, would still laugh if I said that to them because it sounds crazy. Kim, you write something in a book and it just comes true. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Now, I think out of the 70 odd people that are listening, I would probably say a majority, probably, I'd even go to 75, 80% of you, I would say believe that. But here's the thing. If you really believed it, would you not be writing more than what you're writing? Would you not be doing it more on a regular basis? And the answer is yes. Now, down here, I don't know if you guys can see this. No, you can't. I actually have all of my gratitude logs. Look at that. They're all in little folders. I have them all in the 6 years that I've been doing this. And that's because Bob Proctor told me 6 years ago, Kim, get a book. This is when I was traveling the world. Get a book and start to write your goal in it. Now, gratitude and goals are the same. And that's what makes most people get it wrong because they don't realize that. That's great, okay? So we're talking about gratitude. Firstly, how do you do gratitude? Why do we do it? What is it? Simple. I want you to go out and get a book today, all right? Or maybe you'll have a book in your house. I love physical books, and that's been proved through science time and time again. It is way more effective in really working those little neurobrain pathways. So pen and paper, okay? All you have to do is write the date at the top. I'm so happy and grateful now that, okay? I am so happy and grateful now that. And then I want you to list 10 things that you're grateful for. Okay? It could be a cup of coffee. It could be your pets. It could be your wife, your husband, your kids, your job. It could be anything. It could be your health. It could be your body. It could be your mindset. Doesn't matter what it is. I want you every single day for the next 21 days, that's it, to list 10 things you're grateful for. Now, don't make this a boring checklist to do thing because you think, well, Kim Calvert says if I do this, I'll get everything. No, you actually have to be involved in your gratitude. Why? Again, I go back to what I said. Whatever you think about and give energy to expands. You attract more of it. Your mind is energy and is always operating on a negative or a positive pole. Okay? You may or may not know how to control that. That's what we teach. But most people don't know how to control that. And they say, well, I can't help but think that, or I can't help but feel that. And I get it. That's sometimes really difficult. But don't keep saying, I can't do that, or I can't help this, or I can't afford this, or I can't do that. Because the more that you emphasize what you believe you can or can't do, the more it is growing. So by you continuing to say, I can't, by you continuing to say, I don't believe in myself, if you are continuing to say it's hard, it's difficult times, money is in lack, you are creating more lack in your life. You're on the negative pole. If you start to practice gratitude in the morning, and I really advise doing it in the morning, you're going to start to train your mind to be magnetized to the positive. Instead of by default, it keeps going over to whatever you think about. Like you might be a super positive person, so then you're positive all the time. But most people kind of dip in and out. So if you want this year, instead of living life from day to day, month to month, week to week, not knowing if you're coming or going, reacting, and you want to finally take back control and respond, one of the best things you can do is start to train yourself in the habit of being grateful every morning. Basic principle, super easy to do, but literally makes the biggest impact in your life, your business, your relationships. If you're in a relationship right now that you feel you're struggling in, then start to be grateful for things about that person in your life. If you're struggling with a coworker, a boss, an employee, a team member, start to think about good things of that person and be grateful for them. If you're working on, an idea in your business, or you're going out to get more clients or new team members, be grateful for them. Because what happens is you're starting to prime the mind. The mind is like a magnet. If I had a piece of steel, it's either magnetized or it's not magnetized. I could have two bits, one that's magnetized, one that's not. Now, the one that is magnetized, the only difference is in the order that the little electrons are sitting inside the steel. And if I wanted to magnetize the piece of steel that is not magnetized, how do you do it? You take a magnet and you rub it in a consecutive way, over and over, repetition. That's what gratitude does for your mind. It starts to train your mind to be more positive. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, goals. All right, the hot topic of this month. Now, why do 98% of the population get it all wrong? We're in year 2022. We've went through this. This is not our first rodeo. And yet so many people get to the end of the last year and they haven't achieved what they wanted to achieve. And the reason that we have found that most people feel is because they didn't even set the right goal in the first place. Now, this is really, really important, because if you can get this right, then the rest of the year is just going to be so much easier for you. Now, why do people set the wrong goals? Well, simply because they don't understand the science behind goal creation. Goal creation is a process, it's a science. And actually, if you stay to the end of this live, I have a very exciting announcement for you, which I think everybody will be interested in. But goal creation is a process. And the best way I can explain it, it's going to sound probably a little bit nerdy, but I'm massive into the science behind success and results. But goal creation, the purpose of a goal is never to get, ever, right? It's not to get things. It's not because, when I get this, I'm going to feel good. When I'm driving that, people are going to look at me and respect me. When I build that dream home, I'm going to feel fulfilled. When I get the body I've always wanted, I'm going to feel confident. No, that's the wrong way around. And you can prove it. Because how many times have you got to the weight that you want to and you're still not happy? Moved into the home and the relationship's still the same. Went on the holiday, but came back and the same problems are there. We've really got to reassess how we're looking at ourselves and goals and what the purpose of a goal is. A goal is there to help you grow. That's it. Now, go back from that a step. Why should we want to grow? Well, it's inherent. in us. That means it's built into us. We can't help it. Every single human being wants to grow, wants a better life, a bigger life, a grander life, more fulfillment, more joy, more satisfaction, more love, more confidence, more beauty, more health, more longevity, more money, more results, more clients, faster at running, fitter in the gym. No matter what it is, we as human beings cannot escape the fact that we are pre-built to grow. Now, the thing is, most people don't know that. And the way most people find out, if they ever find out, is when you don't have a goal and you're not getting up with a purpose every day, you start to feel tired. You start to eat crap food. You start to not look after your body and your health. You start to have mood swings. You start to have health problems. You start to get crabby with your partner, your family. You start to kind of wonder, what is this life all about? And it just kind of goes like that. Most people kind of drill in and go, just got to get on with it. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, right? Maybe you can relate to this. But then there's a select few. People just like you that have a deep sense of knowing there's definitely more. I want more. I want to be more. I want to have more. I want to do more. I want to give more. But as soon as we think about that, we get hijacked. We get hijacked by that other little voice, or maybe it's not even your voice, maybe it's somebody else's voice saying, how are you going to do that? Why are you going to do that? Who are you to do that? And suddenly we start dreaming, or we stop dreaming. So that happens. And I mean, I think you believe me in that. Just look around, people in your life, in your world, maybe look at your own results, because that's what happened to me. I just started like, phew, and I was only 28 at the time going, this is not good. There's got to be more. But I'd never heard about goals. I never knew what a goal was. To be honest, I kind of thought they were the most pointless things that everybody does at New Year. Nobody ever achieves them. What's the point? I also seen other people achieve goals and they didn't seem any happier, and it seemed like a whole lot of hard work. And I thought, what's the point? Like, that was my mentality. That was my attitude. But then I started to understand goals, the creation process, and I started to realize, goals are not to get. Goals are to help me to grow, to become a bigger version of who I really am. And then the questions started coming in, who am I? Now that goes down a whole other deep, channel, and that's what I help my clients with. But right now we're talking about goals. And the question is, if a goal is for growth, and a goal gives you something to aim at, and it gives you purpose, are you moving towards a goal, or is life kind of just leading you down wherever? 98% of the population are coasting or are floating around. And only 3% are making it happen, because 3% of the population set goals. They not only set goals, but they achieve goals because they understand the science behind it. So the question I have for you is, do you have a goal? Then the next thing is it good enough for you? Now, for some of you, and I'd probably again say a higher percentage, unfortunately, some of you will probably think I'm not worth a goal. Like, I'm not worth, or who am I to do that, or what are they going to think of me? All that crap, right? I just want you to take all of that stuff and just set it over here for a wee minute. If you had all the power, all the ability, all the money, everything that you needed, what would you really love this year? How would you love to spend your months, your weeks, your days? Who do you want to be with? Where would you love to go this year? Don't think about limitations or restrictions. Just for 1 minute, give yourself the permission to just think, what do I really want? Now, as I mentioned before, it's not the things that you want, but the things, aka houses, cars, money, material things, that's not the goal. They are a byproduct. They are an expression. They're like it kind of comes along with it anyway. Like every time I go after a goal, and I've got huge goals this year, but every time I go after a goal, it's not because I want the thing. It's because I am so excited of the growth that will be attached to that. Now, you may or may not fully understand that depending on what you've studied or where you're at in your personal development journey. And by the way, everybody goes on a personal development journey, okay? Because we're all people and we are all growing and we all have to develop. But if you don't have a goal and you don't have something to focus on, you're going to drift this year. You're going to fall back into old habits that are going to give you the same things. So I want you to really think today, and also over this week, if you could have that magic wand, what would it look like? If you could create anything, if you could be anything, have anything, be able to give to other people, what would your life look like? You know, sometimes people say to me, flip me, Kim, what did you have to do to get that beautiful car? What did you have to do to buy that beautiful home in the sun? And you know, the only thing that I've done differently to most people is I've thought about it. I contemplated. I actually give energy, because thinking is giving energy. I actually give energy to something I wanted. Instead of going, oh, I could never have that. Instead of bringing my standards down to my level of income, what I've done is I've taken my income and moved it up to my level of standards. And the only way I was able to do that was by first, as Bob says, picking up a pen and making a decision. What would I love? Now, I'm just asking you all to be kids today. It's like kind of Christmas for adults. Nobody has to see your list. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to at all. But just for your own sake, make a list. Personally, what would I love? Professionally, what I love? And start to just chip away at that. Now, I'm going to teach more about this next week, and I'm going to tell you about that at the end of this call. But there's a process. Okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to go away and make your list, and I want you to make your list. This is my promise to you. If you can just decide what you want in life, I can show you how to get it. If you're in the position where you've no idea what you want, then we can also help you, because that's the first step to moving in. If you already know, great. But if you don't know, then isn't it about time you go on that journey of discovery, that journey of creation? This is the cool thing about life. We can be anything we want to be, but we have to first decide it in our mind. We have to first even think of the idea. So take your pen today. What are your personal goals? Where are places you want to go? If you say you want to earn 10, 20,000 a month, great. What would you do with it every month? So many of my clients, they always say, well, I'll buy a house, I'll buy a car, and I'll do this, and I'll do that. I'm like, great. Now, what are you going to do in the third month? Because this 20,000 is going to come every month. So what are you going to do with it? That's where you've got to start to think. You've got to go outside the box, because your imagination always brings up the same things. So go beyond that. What would you do the next month? Okay. Where would you like to go? How would you like to live? What type of clothes do you want to wear? How do you want your body to be? I really highly, highly recommend that every single person incorporates a health goal into their goals this year. Because when you put that alongside the mindset and the discipline of the mindset, but also of the nutrition and training, you're going to just take off. Like everyone listening to my voice right now, you're only scratching the surface. There is more to you than meets the eye. You know that. That's why you're listening. I know that. You know that. But that's not enough. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to implement that? How are you going to bring the best of you to the surface this year? That's what we got to be thinking about. So what is it that you want? Okay? So get clear on your goals. So number 1, we touched on gratitude. Give thanks and be grateful for 10 things every morning. Do it in the morning as it sets you up on the right vibration to take you through the day. Like that will literally, it's almost like safeguarding you throughout the day. You're going to be more creative. You're going to tap into more ideas. You're going to be better at problem solving. You're going to be better at communicating with others. Everything improves with gratitude. Okay? I would even get your family to do it, get your kids to do it at the breakfast table, name something you're grateful for today. Like make this something that you and your family do. That was number 1. Number 2, write down your goal. What do you want to achieve this year? Now, if you're one of my clients, you will know that what I do is I help you then break that vision down into blocks. We work in 90-day cycles in Dynamite Lifestyle. And we have a very, very succinct 10-point Dynamite formula. We take people through every 90 days to get them totally accountable, on point, on track, moving with speed, but in a calm manner. And that's what we'll be touching on this week. But if you're only new to this and you've never done this before, then just allow yourself to think. Just go, what would I love? How would I love to spend my days? If I could only work, a certain amount a week, what would that look like? Like if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, like now's the time to take back control of your calendar. Okay? Because you're probably letting other people control your calendar. You're probably going outside and helping other people and doing things you shouldn't really, aren't your job. Okay? So that's number 2. Think of your goal. Last but not least, your attitude. Your mental attitude is going to be the most significant thing in your reality this year. Why? What is attitude? Attitude is basically the energy that you give off. Okay? I mentioned earlier that your mind is energy. Okay? And if that's not new to you, go look at it, research it. Okay? Come and listen to some of my talks. Go back into some of the library of the calls here. But really understand that the mind is energy and thoughts are energy, okay? If we think positive, we attract more positive into our life. If we think negative, we attract negative into our life. The key to success is thinking more positively than negatively, no matter what's going on outside of you. That's where most people get stuck. If it's a good day, it's easy to have a good attitude. If it's a rubbish day, then most people, their attitude becomes rubbish, okay? So we help people, instead of going up and down, up and down, up and down, how do we stay on that positive mental attitude? Now, your attitude is 3 things put together. It's your thoughts, it's your feelings, and it's your actions. Attitude is 3 of those in one. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. It is not just thoughts. It is not just thoughts and feelings. It is thoughts, feelings, and actions. So you've got to work with an attitude. You've got to shift your mindset this year, looking at your goal. Okay, this is what I want to achieve. You're going to have to think like that person. So when you look at your goals, ask yourself, what would the attitude of this person be? Let's just do it as a scenario. Let's say you want to earn $20,000 a month in your own business, working 3 days a week, and you want to get fit and you want to travel for 3 months. I don't know, right? And you want to buy your dream home and do all those wonderful things. You would have to ask yourself, like make an avatar, like a pretend person, and go, the person that earns $20,000 a month, works 3 days a week, and is traveling for 3 months and wears X and lives in a beautiful place and is healthy. What does that version of me, because it is you if you thought it, but how does that person think? What are the thoughts that they have? Do they think about the lack and limiting thoughts that you have? Do they have the same doubts and worries that you have? Probably not. Do they doubt and worry? Probably. See, the thing is, no matter how much money you earn, no matter how aware you are, you never eliminate the negative. If anybody, any other mentor or mindset coach or anybody says to you they can totally eradicate negative thoughts, run. Like, run away. Because one, it's impossible. Two, it would be the worst thing to happen, because without the negative, you would never have the positive. That's the law of polarity. It's one of the fundamental universal laws of the universe. If this light didn't go off, it wouldn't go on. If I couldn't get online, I wouldn't be able to get offline. Every single thing in this universe is double. So don't beat on these negative thoughts and it's all terrible and rah, 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 but actually appreciate. Like, sometimes I'm grateful in the mornings for the negative thoughts that I've had, because they've helped me see what I don't want, which gives me more clarity on what I do want. This is the key. This is the true key to really managing your mindset so that you can sail through life, because stuff will happen. There's going to be bad days in this year. There's going to be things that are going to go wrong. There's going to be things that you do that won't be successful. And I think if you're trying to paint that it's going to be this fluffy pink picture that's perfect, you're fooling yourself. Life is about contrast. Like, it's so vital. And just think about love. There would be no possibility to understand or know what love is if you've never experienced love. You know, everybody hates getting their heart broken, but everybody loves when it gets put back together. That's the yin and yang of life. So always remember that. We need the contrast. All right? It's important. So don't beat on yourself. Just rearrange your attitude and say to yourself, what are the thoughts of this person? Okay, would they be thinking that? No. Okay, what would they be thinking? Well, they'd be probably thinking of a solution. They'd probably be thinking about what is the best out of this situation. They would be thinking about how to pivot, adapt, and move. They would be thinking, okay, well, what can I create? That version of you only sees the objectives and only gives energy to the objectives, the outcome, the goal. And when you do that, everything else moves away for you. Every person in this universe, in this world, every famous person, every celebrity, every musician, every Olympian has said it's all about goals. So we've got to focus on our goals, but not only, we got to have the attitude of our goal. So you got to have the thoughts. Next one, your feelings. How would you be feeling if you were earning that type of money a month? What if you were able to do what I did, which was turn my annual into a monthly income? Now, my goodness, it's a lot different. But I remember the first time I heard Bob Proctor say that. What if you were to turn your annual income into a monthly income? I mean, I didn't believe it. I thought it was the biggest pile of rubbish. What? This must be a get-rich-quick scheme. This must be fake. They're just saying that. Blah, blah, blah. Why? Because my mind was so tuned to the negative, I could only see why it shouldn't work. How I couldn't be possible to do it. But by doing gratitude, by starting to focus on my goals, by starting to reassess what my thoughts, feelings, and actions were, everything started to change. You've got to really, the key to success is feeling good. Okay? Feeling good. You know, if you were to look at some of our clients over last year, most of them that made those huge quantum leaps, like doubling yearly income, there was one person who quadrupled, they all worked nearly half the amount of time than what they previously worked. Now, that is not logical. It is illogical, and that's what we do. We teach the illogical. We teach people how to be in that 3%, take that quantum leap through a very systematic process. And that's what I want you to do this year. I want you to think about skipping the rungs of the ladder. How could you do more in maybe the first quarter or the first 6 months so you could take the last 6 months off? You know, there's a way to do that. You just haven't thought of it yet. And the reason you probably haven't thought of it yet is because you're not having the attitude of the goal and being grateful for who you are right now. And the reason is because you probably just didn't know to do it. Like, it's that simple. I was talking to some people over Christmas, some family members, and my sister, she's a network marketer, and she's doing really well, and she's, you know, doing great things, and she's #1 in Europe in her company, but She was like, I was like, what's the struggles? Because I mean, there's always struggles. And that's all I ever want to help people with, is close that gap. I was like, what's the gap? What's the biggest thing that's holding you back that could make the biggest shift? And, you know, she's telling me normal pains, you know, referring or recruiting new clients, you know, getting her team motivated, all the usual sales stuff. And it's just taking too much time. I said, okay. I says, have you ever sat down for just even an hour and thought to yourself, how could I do this in a better way, in a faster way? And no, she hadn't. No, she squirmed about for about 5 minutes trying to go, well, and I'm going, yeah, but no, answer the question. It's either a yes or a no. You've either sat down and done that or you haven't. And the reality is, guys, no matter what business you're in, or if you have a business, or if it's, you know, not in a great place right now, or if it's in a great place, it doesn't matter. Take away everything that's going on in the world today. Your results in life are a direct reflection of your attitude, your conditioned way of thinking, feeling, and acting. Your conditioned way, your habitual way. It's not just the good days. Like, you think about an athlete. They did not win the gold medal because they had this great training session 1 week. They got the gold medal because they showed up when they felt like crap. They showed up when it was raining. They kept going when it was the worst session. Compounded consistency is what makes champions. Anybody can win once, but the true legends live where consistency lives. That's why I've only given you 3 things to do. Write out your gratitude, focus on your goal, and maintain a positive mental attitude towards your goal. Think like the person you want to become. Act like the person you want to become. That's the 3rd step of the attitude. You got to think the thoughts, you got to feel the feelings, but then the big one. Because remember, thoughts and feeling are the magnet, brings everything to you. But action is how we receive it in physical form. If you're listening to people that are just telling you to sit back and meditate and suddenly everything falls from the sky, run away. It's not about that. It's not just about thinking positive and suddenly you've got millions in your bank. Absolutely not. But success is 95% mindset, 5% strategy. So what you've got to ask yourself is, last year, were you 95% strategy, 5% mindset? In fact, I'd say most people are about 98% strategy. The way you want to flip that this year is start to actually go, I need to be 95% more in the mindset. I need to do the gratitude. I need to focus on what I want, the outcomes that I want, the goals that I want. Do you know how many companies I have helped by just simply changing how they do their team meetings, whether it's weekly or monthly? Instead of going into a team meeting and looking at what needs to be done, what hasn't went well, last year's projections, focusing on problems, you should be setting up with giving gratitude for all the things that went right. Looking at what we did well. And looking at big ideas. When you're looking at goals, guys, one more reason why a lot of people fail is because they're setting goals too small. Now, I'm going to be doing something next Monday that is going to teach you intensively about goal creation if you're interested. Let me know in the chat box. Would you be interested in listening to me for about 90 minutes on a mindset masterclass all around goal creation? Who would like that? Let me know in the chat. I'll see if I can see it. Okay, good. So let me know in the chat if you would be interested in that. It's totally free. Is to give you more in-depth scientific understanding around the goal creation process. Because that last point, attitude and action, that's what you've got to now do. What action are you going to take this week? Like, you want to think of what actions can you do? Maybe it's just 3 actions a week that you do to move you forward. Well, this is one that you can do today, and that is come and join us on a webinar masterclass I'm going to do next Monday. So I'll tell you about that in a little second. So to finish this up, guys, right now where you sit, I don't care who you are, where you are, what you've done, what you haven't done, what you think, what you don't think. All you've got to ask yourself today is, what are you committed to doing this year? What do you really want? And maybe a good place to start is, what are you no longer going to tolerate in your life? What are you no longer going to tolerate? And there's probably a lot of things that you need to, start to reassess your thinking around. Change your attitude. Attitude to life is going to be life's attitude to you guys. It is the essence of everything that comes into your life. If you're looking more high quality clients in your company, if you're looking for more creative ideas, if you're looking for that inspiration of how you can shift from being maybe an employee to finally going out and doing something on your own, if you're needing money, resources, people, whatever it is that you think you don't have, be grateful for it in advance as if you have it. Think on ways and what you can actions you can take each day, and then operate with an attitude, a success attitude. Every day, you're going to see transformational changes. Excuse me. So, I'm excited to say, and we're going to end it with this, next Monday, the 10th of January, I am going to put on, I haven't done this in probably 6, maybe 8 months. So this is the first of 2022. I'm going to do a masterclass all around the goal creation scientific process. How do thoughts turn into things? How do we actually, just take a goal, not just from being a list on your page, but how do we actually move that into physical form through the scientific process? And if that's not good enough, I'm also going to be doing a visioneering masterclass interactive with you on that webinar. So what I'm going to do, the way I'm thinking of it is look at the science, because I think that's important. Look at the theory and look at the science of goals. Then we're going to look at what is it that you want. And then I'm actually going to take you through a live, active visioneering workshop, which will activate the vibration and the energies that you need to create in your life this year.